everyone, welcome back to another episode of Feel Good with Helprr. I am Anshita
and I'm Anvesh. Yeah, and we're here to talk about our experiences with mental health and our own ways of coping.
Awesome, let's get started.
Absolutely. Given the busyness of the month and the busyness of the weeks that you've had, how have you been taking care of yourself?
Very good question. I am guilty of not finding enough time to take care of myself, but as everyone, I'm a work in progress. So this whole year, I established a very good habit of waking up super early. And the first thing I do is I drink a glass of water before I chug my coffee. And I do yoga on days. I like to mix it up because I feel like if I'm doing yoga every day, I am kind of a person who gets bored very easily. So I like to mix it up with gym. So I do that. So I try to keep my morning with follow a same routine of drinking water, doing the yoga, writing my gratitude journal, which I've been doing for I think I started writing journal in 2019 or 2020, and I've been doing that for a long time. It's super, super helpful. So I do that. And then recently started gardening, so I spent time. Yes. Okay, yeah, I spent time taking care of my plants. And other than that, I also, a couple weeks ago, I started canvas painting again. I used to do that as a kid, and I also did that once during COVID, and then I never did it again. So it's really helping me to reconnect with old hobbies. And you won't believe, within 2 weeks I have 3 paintings ready. Yeah. I would put a photo of it. It's not perfect. It looks like a 5-year kid painted the canvas, but okay, back to your question. What else I've been doing to take care of myself? I think that's it. And also one more thing is to keep the excitement for the mornings and to have a motivator to wake up early, because as I said, I'm a coffee lover. I've tried switching up my coffee. So I have a hazelnut coffee, and then I have a strong espresso. So I have different flavors of coffee. So that is just something that I look forward to wake up and try a new flavor.
Something new.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah. Other than that, I've been dancing a lot, but that is something that I do ever since I was a kid. I monkey around. And reading. I've started reading again.
Yeah, all very good things. And I think a running theme in the things that you've mentioned is something to connect to creativity, something to connect to your body, something to connect to nature and spend some time outdoors. And I think those are all really amazing things when it comes to self-care.
I love how you connected it all. It's mind, body, soul. And that's so true. I think that's
part of it, right? Yeah.
What about you? What have you been doing this summer?
Very good question. I think this summer as well, I've definitely gotten better about the whole morning routine thing and waking up on time, having enough time in the morning so that I'm not rushing to go to things, which I feel like has been a problem for me in the past. So ensuring I wake up and then have enough time to do my little morning routine, and it's not super rushed, and I don't feel like I'm late for anything. And kind of the same, I'm not a coffee person at all because caffeine is just too much for me. But a morning tea, kind of the same vibe. It's I like my little calming time, little quiet time before I start my day and really get going. And for me, my self-care often happens before bed or in the evening after a long day. It's amazing to me that you do yoga in the morning, because I'm a yoga in the evening kind of person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's de-stressed after the day, go to the gym, do something calm, get connect with the body after sitting on my bum the whole day.
For me, it's if I don't do it in the morning, I would not do it, because by the evening I'm so exhausted. So in the evening, I just like to take a nice bath or a shower.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. Yeah, I feel for me, my evening yoga practice is very much a get ready for bed kind of yoga. It's stretch out the muscles, get nice and loosey-goosey. That's definitely something that I like to do. But yeah, I agree with you. The gym in the evening, it's been a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a next level challenge.
But thankfully I have a lot of I go with people, so I'm not going alone, and that helps maintain motivation, right? Yeah. Which is good, I feel and then kind of the same as you, I've always been someone who has houseplants, so taking care of my little plants has been really nice to just
your little babies.
I know, and make sure they're all healthy and well. And yeah, I feel that's something that I've done since I was little. And also connecting to the creativity piece, love being creative, have not really had time to be creative as much as I would have loved to, but in the moments that I do, a lot of my friends know I'm an anxiety knitter, so if it's exam period or something, there'll just be a sweater, or there'll be a cardigan, or there'll be a blanket or something that just happens.
mom loves knitting.
Yeah.
And just yesterday I was talking to her. She's like, I need to go, like, get some stuff ready so that I can knit you a new sweater.
Love that.
And
yeah.
she loves it because I wear it, because my brother, he would never wear things hand-knitted because it's like old-fashioned or whatever. But I would flaunt it. I'm like, my mom made it for me, and I would wear it to like work and outdoors. So she's like, you appreciate my art. I'm gonna make more sweaters for you. I'm like, okay.
Yes, same with me. It's like I have too many sweaters myself, so I just give them away, and they're like, this is my anxiety knitting.
You should make one for Helprr.
Oh, I should, with the like yellow and the orange.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice. Yeah, but that's kind of how I maintain my peace as well. And just the evening, making sure it's like no screen time, put on some nice music maybe, and then like do my nightly routine, my skincare, my nighttime yoga, and then like snuggle up in bed and then fall asleep.
I love that. And I love what you said about like taking care of yourself before you're ready for bed, because sometimes I also struggle with falling asleep. Like right when I'm in bed, I'm tossing and turning and million other thoughts going on in the head, that what is it I forgot to do today? What is it that I need to do today? Like what is due this week? So it's really important to do something in the evening. And about the screen time, one more thing that I've been doing this summer is I just delete Instagram from my phone time to time. I would like delete it for a week and then reinstall it, and I feel like those weeks I have more hours in a day than I do normally. So yeah, it's amazing how much of like social media detox can be beneficial for your mental health.
Yeah, and honestly, if the deleting of the app, because for me a lot of my communication with my friends is over Instagram messages, so it's hard to navigate like completely removing that. But like something that I find really, really works is putting my phone somewhere that's not near my bed.
I love that.
So like I leave it in the living room charging by the couch, and then I go into my bed, and then I have to get out of bed in the morning, and then I'm out of bed, so I start my morning,
I love that. I was reading, I think it was Atomic Habit, the book, where they mentioned that if it is something that you want to do, just make it easier for you to do, and if it is something that you don't want to do, make it harder for you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what you're doing. And I do that too, like just put the phone away, or like
make it hard,
so like for example, I was trying to cut sugar. We just did not buy sugar. We stopped buying it. So a lot of the time I would have craving for sugar, and then it's just not there.
Yeah, and honestly that applies to everything, right? It's like if you want to do your yoga in the morning, right, lay out your yoga mat before you go to bed. Then when you walk out your room, it's there, and then you like, I wanted to do yoga.
Yeah, exactly. And also like gym, if you want to go to gym for girls, like get a cute outfit.
Outfit, like find something that you're comfortable in that would make you feel motivated to go and do it, right? I feel like that's something that we don't really talk about as much. It's like, but you're spending more money, but you're also building the habit, and you're like making it more accessible to yourself, right?
Exactly. And at that point, I don't think it's about spending the money. It's sort of an investment you're doing to build a better you. And also accountability buddies are something that I find super helpful, and I think that is one of the reasons why, now that I think about it, is that I'm more productive in cafes, because I feel like people are looking at me, so I need to work. Versus at home, I'm like, I'm productive, but I'm not as productive as I'm in cafes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I feel like at home there's the temptation to just like turn on a show or like do something else, or like so I feel like the work from home days are also a little difficult to get through, but definitely important too. And I feel like the same thing applies as like getting a cute outfit. It's if you're eating healthy, if you're on an eating healthy journey, I feel like what's worked for me is buy things that make healthy recipes, right? That I enjoy eating. And it's not like salad, because like for me, salad gets boring every once in a while. And if you eat a salad every day, it's just like, oh, I'm eating greens. I'm just eating grass. Like I don't want to do that. So like buy healthy ingredients that make healthy recipes that I know I'll love. And that's really helped me with like eating healthy at home instead of like spending money outside, which is another good way to maintain your mental health too.
Love that. That's so good. And you're also not spending money outside eating like junk.
Exactly, and it's junk. Sometimes the food that you get from outside, it's delicious, sure, but it's not always the healthiest option.
You mentioned you're an anxiety knitter. I'm curious to ask, what else is it that you do to overcome your anxiety?
Anxiety. Oh, good question. Honestly, it's a work in progress, and I've been trying to find things that work for me, because like you said, I get bored very easily sometimes, and if it's the same sort of coping mechanism every day, I don't stick with it. And I find myself reaching for things that are maybe not the most healthy, like doom scrolling on Instagram, going on TikTok. But something that I feel like has helped me as well is reconnecting with nature. I love that it's summer, and even though it's been super hot, love going outside, going for a little walk. It really helps calm things down for me and slow things down as well. And on top of that, like, even if it's just a small little like coffee date or like hanging out with someone after hours, after school, like those little connections and those moments of human connection really help me sometimes put things in perspective, because I feel like if you're stuck in an overthinking spiral, at least for me, how it manifests is like I'm stuck there, like I can't get out of it. So having a little bit of outside connection with my support network, with my friends, with my family, with my community, really helps me to like, okay, like it's serious, but it's not that serious. Like it's something that I can do tomorrow. It's not something that needs to be like overthought and worried about today.
I love that. And it also like helps you, as you said, snap out of that spiral and be like, okay, there is more to the world. There are other things to think about. I love that. And I love long walks. They are always helpful. I know like people say it's like if you're suffering, go for a walk sometimes might sound too cliche, but it definitely helps, especially like if you put some good music on. A lot of the times I just go out for a walk in the community I live in. It's so nice. I would see people with dogs and they would just start talking with you, and all of a sudden like whole world is green again.
And that's the thing. I feel like it's something that might seem hard to do in the moment, but like once you get it going and build up the habit of like being out in nature, if it's something that works for you, just make it a thing. You know what I mean? Just like, go out. Just sit on a park bench or something. Time outdoors, like we mentioned on our thing, 5 minutes in nature can really, really, really help your mood, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes, yeah. It's not that long. We can all spare 5 minutes maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's weird because self-care is not one size fits all. So maybe something that works for you might not work for me, and then something that works for me might not work for you. So it's also I think trial and error. You try out different things and then you understand over time that what is it that actually helps you and your system. So but again, like you have to try to find that out. It's a long journey. But and then sometimes it can change also.
Exactly.
Because like for me, writing helps, but it does not help always. Sometimes it just makes it even harder for me. But 90% of the time, it does help me a lot. Writing things down.
I'm glad that you mentioned that as well, because I find myself leaning for journaling when I'm in a very difficult part of my life, but it's not something that's a consistent thing that I do like every day, right? But when I'm like going through something super challenging, or there's a lot of big change, or there's a lot of emotions that I haven't necessarily processed, I find myself picking up journaling because it's something that helps me order my thoughts, but I don't necessarily always need to do that every day for it to be productive, right? So like for me, journaling is a coping mechanism during extremely tough periods.
Interesting.
But it works for me that way, right? Like I feel like if I'm enjoying a really good period in my life, the journaling kind of takes me out of that a little bit. And it's like I'm not living in the moment. I'm now, because journaling for me, I built up the habit of doing it when things are tough. So then if it's good, I start writing about the bad things that are going on.
Oh my God.
It's like counterintuitive that way.
Yeah.
So I found the way that works for me, but right, that's trial and error, and that's been my experience with it from doing it for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. And I know like for me personally, 8 years ago, I did not know of any of these coping mechanisms. Like if life sucked, I was just there suffering for a very long time until like someone would pull me out of it. But now I'm in the position where I know how to pull myself out of it. But it's been a journey, as I call it, like a healing journey, and it's a lifelong process. There are still things I'm learning and I'm trying to uncover and understand about myself, my behavior, my different patterns, what is it that triggers me. But I'm more mindful of it now. And it is also very important when you have family and friends around who understand you and who support you in that journey. Because I know like in a lot of the cultures and community right now, because of the stigma, they don't feel comfortable enough to even like come out and talk about these things. And if they do, people say that, oh, you're being so sensitive, or like man up, it's okay, don't be such a girl. So what do you think, Anvesh, in your opinion, how can someone who is in that sort of scenario, what can they do about it?
Talking about it openly, like parents, community leaders, like talking about mental health openly, talking about well-being in general openly is something that changes the stigma. It's slow moving, and the progress that happens there happens over time. But having the opportunity and having leaders model that kind of communication, open communication, really, really helps it filter down into the rest of the society. And that starts like community leaders, like whoever, religious leaders, politicians, whomsoever, and also in the household, right? Like parents modeling it for the kids, older siblings modeling it for the younger siblings, like that sort of thing, that sort of dynamic. And it really helps break down the cultural stigma from the start.
I love that. Yeah. Especially in community. I love what you said about like religious leaders also, because I think maybe there is one generation that would listen to a religious leader more and they would follow what they're saying in a more disciplined way. So it would be really good if these people start talking about things like these. And also for people who are, because I know some of the people in my network are stuck in situations where no one gets them. And to those people, I would just say that even though like change is coming, it's slow, it will take time. But just because they don't understand you, it does not mean your pain is not valid or it does not exist. Maybe like sometimes you have to stand up for yourself and like take care of yourself and just ignore those voices that are saying that everything is all right when you know very well that it is.
Yeah, and I think to that point as well, I think there's a rhetoric that's going on right now in general community that's very much like, oh, stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself. And I think it's necessary, but also I think an important part of that journey is to also recognize when standing up for yourself can put you in more danger or put you in more harm or just be more frustrating than it would be worth doing at the moment, right? I'm not saying don't do it at all. Like, for example, I'm thinking of my own community, right? My own, like, a lot of South Asian communities is very similar. My very niche aspect of that is South African Indians, and we are very much averse to talking about mental health. And in those situations, sometimes bringing up that we're struggling isn't necessarily met with like positivity or met with support. It's met with the like, oh, drink some water, go outside, eat some good food, which like all good advice, but not what you want to hear when you're struggling, right? So in those moments, it's hard to be that person that does stand up for yourself, and sometimes standing up for yourself as well just makes it worse. In that way, finding small ways that work for you in your community and to find those supports, I feel like is also an important thing to try and figure out as well. And it's again, like you said, trial and error. So you got to do what works for you, and it's different for everyone.
100%. Yeah.
A good point. I think what's something that you feel like is something that we're working towards now in terms of mental health and well-being that like we're almost there, but not necessarily there yet. And how could we get there?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
I would say like, as I said, like writing things down, understanding my emotions and triggers better. And I've also started like reading books about how our brains work. And sometimes, like, you know, as a person, when you react to certain situations, you feel like that's normal when that's not really normal, but that's how you have been functioning for a lot of years. So I'm trying to become more and more mindful of my patterns and like looking back, maybe like the way I am today in certain aspects of my life is because of maybe something I experienced several years ago. And this is something that was new to me a few years ago. I did not know how much past life experiences can affect your present and future. So I'm trying to work on it in a way that, okay, I know this is what happened. I know that is why I have this, let's say, ABC negative trait, but then I cannot use that as an excuse of my behavior that may or may not hurt others, right? So I'm in the process of understanding that. And if I come to that point, I'm like, okay, this is why I'm going to behave like this. I'm not going to react to the situation. I'm going to think about it. And then I would take the next course of action. So like trying to like create a sort of roadblock or a speed breaker, if you may, to basically remodel my thinking and the wiring in my brain, if that makes sense.
No, I completely understand what you're saying. Sometimes the way that we've been is just, it's just how it is, and it's really hard to break yourself out of that cycle. So I applaud the effort to try and stop that process and create a little bump before you just immediately bolt into it. And I feel like that's a hard process, no? What's your experience been like for that?
It's been super difficult, and a lot of it is just about my anxiety, because I've realized that all my life, I cannot think of a time in my life when I was not anxious or scared. I'm like, I have done so much in my life. I've always been like, academically, I've always excelled, got top grades and everything, made a good career, moved here. Everything has been great, but I'm always so scared and fearful, and I'm being super vulnerable here right now. But I don't want to live the rest of my life like that. I don't want to always have that anxiety within me, that my heart is racing, my hands are shaking. I do things, I do them well, but no one sees the behind the scenes, the puking, the stomach pain, the headaches, the
The struggle.
The
Yeah,
struggle,
yeah.
exactly, the whole struggle. So it's a work in progress, and a lot of it now I can tie back to like maybe past experiences, or how I always, maybe I'm creating an environment where my anxiety is thriving, and I just want to remove that sort of environment where my anxiety, like, you know, is so powerful on me. I think a little bit of anxiety is good, because for me personally, it forces me to perform better, to over prepare and all of that.
And be ready.
Be ready,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, and be ready. I take my work super seriously. So a bit of anxiety is good, but anxiety to a point where you're just not able to function is not good. And same with overthinking. I do something called, I learned this when I was going for therapy, which is catastrophizing the situation. So I always assume the worst. So for example, if a loved one is not answering my phone immediately, I might think, what if they're in an accident? Like, that's where my brain goes. So I have learned to, like, okay, when this is happening, that's my brain, like, just thinking of the worst case scenario that is so far away from reality. What proofs do I have right now to validate my fear? So I start thinking logically, okay, no, there is no proof that validates that fear is correct. So it's just false. And my therapist also taught me that fear stands for, and I don't know if I remember it now, but FEAR. So he said, false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so it's all coming back now. But yeah, that also really helped me quite a lot to really, like, not just feel everything I think, but take a minute to see why I am thinking that and how true that
Yeah,
is.
and like, is it a logical thought?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Is it really a gut feeling, or is it just anxiety? And I don't know how true this is, but I've also learned that gut feeling is something you feel in your stomach, versus anxiety and fear is something you feel in your
chest,
chest. So yeah, that also helps a
Yeah.
lot.
No, absolutely. Thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing as well with everyone. But at the same time, I applaud the work that you've been putting in, and also what you've said about getting help through therapy. I feel like that's a really important thing. If you feel like it is overwhelming and you're at that point where things are too frustrating and you can't actually function, it's definitely important to seek like the professional help and have the supportive community and everything too.
Exactly. Yeah. And also there is no shame in like sharing your struggles. I feel like a lot of the time people tell me that you are the founder of Helprr. You're there to help people and you're struggling. And I'm like, that's why I'm trying to help people, because we are in this together. And I don't think you can all ever be like that 100% perfect. There are going to be, life is a roller coaster. There are ups and downs, but it's just how you learn to live with it better.
Absolutely, and 100% perfection doesn't exist. Nobody is living life without struggle. And I think what you said is so interesting, because I'm of the opinion you can't really help someone if you don't know what they're necessarily going through.
Exactly.
So having some experience with some form of challenge helps you understand why it's so challenging, right?
Exactly.
And then provide resources that also work with that. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very closed-minded mindset for folks to be like, but you can't, like, you're supposed to only think about other people.
Yeah, it's not that if you're a doctor you can't fall sick. You
Exactly.
still fall sick. Yeah. I know you studied neuroscience. Do you ever
did.
link neuroscience with mental health?
It's been really interesting because my prior degree was very like biologically focused, so it was very much like when you have this specific challenge mentally, this is what the neurotransmitters are doing and why they behave the way that they behave, and this is what it does to your body. So like the thing that you mentioned about anxiety forming in the chest versus the gut feelings in the stomach, like those are things that like are explainable through biology with like parasympathetic nervous activation and that sort of thing, which is very, very like scientific. And I think that helps inform how I conduct my mental health like journey and my own mental health journey, because it's like, for example, when I'm experiencing some form of anxiety or a panic attack or something, it's like I feel the symptoms, right? It's like I feel the racing heart, I feel like there's a thought spiral, and I feel like all of this is happening and I don't really know what's going on. And I feel like the fact that I've studied it makes it a little bit easier to like, oh, but like that's like my heart is racing and I'm also getting sweaty hands and I'm also feeling a little nauseous. Maybe I'm having something related to anxiety, therefore coping mechanisms, right? So I feel like sometimes it makes it easier, but also it makes it a little harder because you can't always rationalize away like emotions like that, especially when the anxiety is like what caused it, you know what I mean? Or like there's a depressive episode and you're like, there's no real reason for me to be going through this really externally, but I'm feeling the symptoms and I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know how to get there.
God, yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, like doctors make the worst patients sometimes. They just like
You know too much.
they know too much, and
Yeah.
they know what they're supposed to do, but they don't necessarily always do it. So I agree. Sometimes for me, in my experience, it's been like that, and I don't really know what to do with that.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's like you're feeling it and you know why you're feeling it and you
Yep.
know too much about why you're
Yeah.
feeling it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I should probably do it. But yeah, it's like when you're doom scrolling and you know you shouldn't be doing it, but you do it
On a
anyway.
smaller scale, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the same thing. But yeah, I think everyone's experience with it is different too. I feel like I know mental health practitioners that are like working in the field as therapists for so long, and they're just able to snap out of it. And some folks that have been working equally as long that also go through their own challenges and have their own therapist, and like
Yeah.
it works for everyone, right? Everyone
Yeah.
has a different way of going about it.
100%. I have so much respect for therapists because I know, like, sometimes when people would share their experiences with me, I'm a very empathetic person. So I just feel too much. And then for, like, let's say someone comes and they share their, like, whatever they're going through and they cry. Now, for 3 days, minimum of 3 days, I would be sad because, like, just thinking about why do they have to go through this? I feel so bad. What can I do for them? And I just think about therapists. Like, they help so many people. And when you're going to a therapist, you're not sharing, like, oh, life's amazing, all of that. You're probably sharing like the dark sides that you're not
Yeah.
sharing with anyone else. So much respect for people in this field. They take too much. And thank you so much for sharing all of that you shared.
Likewise.
This has been amazing. And I would love to, like, for others to share what they like to do for their self-care, and check out helprr.ai, join our community. Even though AI isn't the name, but we're building a community first.
There's people behind.
Yes, and we lead with heart.
Yeah.
So see you in the next one,
Yeah.
and thank you so much, Anvesh.
Oh, thank you for having me.